everyone, welcome back to Zen Budgets. My name is Tapasya and I'm so glad to have you guys here today. In today's video, I'm going to be doing another cash envelope stuffing, and I'm also going to be going over my budget for the month of September. But before I get started, I want to apologize for being MIA for so long. I think I didn't upload a video for almost 2 months, and that's because a lot of things happened in my personal life and I really didn't get the chance to upload, film, or even edit my videos. I did post my July cash envelope stuffing video last week. I filmed that in July, but I just never got around to editing it and uploading it. So I'm gonna link that somewhere up here in the card so you can check that out if you didn't already. And without further ado, let's just jump right into September and talk about what has changed in my budgeting journey, what I'm doing now, what my budget is looking like for this month, and then finally we'll go ahead and stuff some envelopes. So for starters, the biggest change that I've made in my finances over the past 2 months is that I'm no longer using cash envelopes for my day-to-day spending. So this is for things like food, gas, spending, toiletries, household. I'm no longer using cash envelopes for that. And the reason for that is that over the past 2 months, my life got pretty hectic, and I found myself, first of all, I found myself going over budget. And since I was going over budget, I was starting to lose track of where my money was going because it was being spent in cash. So for example, if I needed to spend a bigger amount than I budgeted for in one category, I would be forced to pull out money from another cash envelope, and then later on I wouldn't be able to remember how much I spent on the other category, where it came out of, and stuff like that. It just got too complicated, and for me personally, I think it's really important to be able to track every single penny, every single dollar that I'm spending. Well, maybe not every single penny, but every dollar that is going out of my account so I can see which areas I need to make improvement in. And while I love cash envelopes, I've done them before and then I restarted this year, I do understand that there are sometimes limitations to the system, and I don't want to constrain myself to one system and tell myself that, oh, I have to stick to this if it's not working for me. If it's not working for me, I want to give myself the freedom to make a change. And I think that's really important in any financial planning system. You have to be flexible. If you find that something is not working for you, I think it's important to acknowledge that and maybe try something different. So with that being said, since I am no longer doing cash envelopes for my day-to-day spending, I did switch out of this adorable tiny cash envelope wallet to this instead. This is a small little wallet by Steve Madden. I got it at Ross for I think about $10. I've had this for I think 2 years now, and I always come back to it whenever I need a smaller wallet to go in my purse. I have all of my cards in here. It does have a tiny zippered section so I can put in some cash if I need to, as well as some change, but for now it's empty, and this is what I'm using currently, and it's working great for me. And something I've struggled with in the past is making expenditures on too many different cards. So over the past 2 months, I've really tried to simplify my finances down to just one credit card and one debit card. I've decided that unless someplace requires debit, I'm going to make all of my purchases on just one credit card so I can get the rewards on that, and then I can just pay that off later from my checking account, which is tied to my other debit card. So this is a pretty simple system. I'm no longer using any of my other credit cards or debit cards. They're not even in my wallet, so I don't even have to worry about it. So that's kind of been the biggest change that I've made in terms of my finances. I am still stuffing my short-term and my long-term sinking funds. Saving for short-term as well as long-term sinking funds, I find that cash works best for me because I can just set the cash aside and I can just forget that it even exists. And then when I actually need it, it's always almost like a nice little surprise to find out that past me actually did future me a huge favor and saved up the money already. So I love doing my short-term and long-term sinking funds in cash, so that part of my finances will remain the same. So now let's just dive straight into my September budget. So over the past 2-3 weeks, I've actually started using my Hobonichi Weeks Planner for my finances. I've been wanting to use the Hobo Weeks for finances for quite a long time, but I just never quite made the switch. But I saw a couple of videos on the Better Half blog, and I'll link her channel down below in the description. And her budgeting videos in the Hobonichi Weeks give me a lot of inspiration and ideas for how I can budget in my own Hobonichi Weeks. I was previously using this for other things such as my kitten's health issues. My kitten is epileptic and she has a lot of seizures and she's on a lot of medications, so I was kind of using this to keep track of her seizures before. So this was kind of just sitting there for the most part. I wasn't really using it for much, so I had it available. And I've honestly really been loving budgeting in this so far and tracking my finances in it. And I'm going to share an entire video on this system because I think it's actually a really cool system and it's been helping me out a lot and it's been helping me stay on track with my finances. But for now, let's just delve into the budget portion. So now we're all zoomed in. I hope it's clear and you guys can see everything. So here is my September budget. So in terms of my income, starting this month, my income is going to be quite inconsistent for a while, and I'm not sure what amounts I'm going to be making. So I did cut down on my expenses a lot because I really don't want to dip into my savings unless I really have to. This isn't my bare minimum budget, but I did cut back a little bit. If I need to, I will cut back more next month. So for now, I don't really have an income amount for this month because it's still in progress and I don't know what it's going to be, but I am aiming to keep my expenses and sinking funds and everything under a total of $1,100 this month. And that's excluding housing, which is separate, and I don't really keep track of that in my full budget. All right, so for starters, I did make this budget near the end of the first week of September, and I did end up eating out a couple of times. And as it happens, when you eat out, it adds up really quickly. So I'd already spent $100 by the time I made this budget on food. And of course, I still have 3 weeks left in the month of September. So I decided to give myself $100 total for the rest of the month. Hopefully that will be enough, but we'll see. I'm really going to try to stick to this. And then for gas, I gave myself $50. Since gas is so expensive right now, this will pay for about, I would say, a tank and a third or something. And I do share a car and gas expenses with my friend who I live with, and we do have a Prius, so that's why my gas expense is so low. Plus we also don't go out too much. And then for spending, I gave myself $25. For toiletries, I gave myself $20. For household, I gave myself $20. And then for kittens, and you'll notice it says kittens, not Zelda anymore, and that's because I did end up finding another kitten. I found a 2-week-old kitten. She was stuck in a car, and my friend and I heard her yelling out when we were just out on a walk, so I ended up rescuing her, and then I ended up keeping her because she stole my heart. So now I have 2 kittens, and so my budget is $300 for them both. And I actually have a little breakdown right here for my kittens. And my older kitten Zelda, who's 10 months old, she is epileptic, so she's on medication and she has a lot of special needs, and every couple of months she needs to be tested for a lot of different things and be seen by a neurologist. So taking care of her is quite expensive, and that's why, if you'll notice, in previous months I was saving up large amounts for her. In fact, there were some months where pretty much my whole paycheck went towards her. But now, since things are a little bit more stable, I've been trying to cut down on the expenses a little bit. For the new kitten, I do have a lot of supplies from Zelda, so she isn't as expensive right now. This is kind of what I have budgeted. I have $86 each budgeted for food, since they're both on wet food. I have $50 budgeted for Zelda's medication. The new kitten is healthy. She doesn't need any meds, so that's not filled out for her. And then for litter, I estimated $10 for Zelda, and I am trying out a new litter, so that's why there's a higher amount written for silver. And then for toys, $10 each. And then for vets, I just have a dash because, of course, I don't know what they'll need and when they'll need it, and it's kind of on an as-needed basis, so that's not really filled out right now. And for miscellaneous, same thing. I don't know what it's going to actually cost, so nothing is filled out or budgeted for that. But all of this comes out to $279 a month, and since my budget is $300, that leaves me with roughly $21 for any miscellaneous expenses. And to be quite honest, this is definitely a budget on the lower end. With Zelda's special needs, most months my expenses for her end up being a lot higher, but I'm trying to cut down on them. So for now, I'm going to see how this works out. And then I do have a storage unit because I'm in the process of moving right now. So all of my stuff is in my storage unit now, or at least most of it. So that's $111 a month. And then I have my back taxes, 50, web hosting 7, and I have Spotify and Hulu 5. I get the student discount on that, so that's only 5, and then I have $9 for Netflix. So these are all of the expenses that are going to be coming out of my checking accounts. Next up, I have giving, and this is just going to go in my wallet. I actually already took out the cash for that and I put it in my car. Not my wallet, actually. I put it in my car because I realized that most of the time when I needed to give money to somebody, it was when I was at a stoplight or something, and it was very inconvenient to try to find my wallet really quickly. So I'm just putting that in my car directly now, so it's much easier to pull out the cash and give it quickly. And the rest of these are all sinking funds. So I have 27 for phone, I have 83 for kittens, and then if I have any overflow out of this 300, if I have anything left, that is also going to go into the sinking fund. And this is a very conservative amount again. And then for business, I have 50 as usual, beauty gets 20, clothing gets 20, health gets 20, and then for Christmas, I have 23, birthday has 25, and then miscellaneous is going to get 20. So this comes out to 1,000, or technically 1,100 if I count in the 100 I already spent on food. So that's kind of what my budget looks like for the month of September. We'll see how this goes this month, and then I will make adjustments as needed next month. So now let's move on to the stuffing portion of this video. So I'm going to start off with my short-term sinking funds. So beauty is going to get $20. 20, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So beauty has $65 now. Next up, we have birthday, which is going to get 25, 20, and 5. This has 100, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, and 300 now. So this is now fully funded. Next up, we have business, which is going to get 50. This now has 150. Next, I have Christmas, which is going to get $23. 20. And 1, 2, 3. This has 100, 50, 70, 90, 210, 230, 250, 251, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 256. Next up, I have clothing, which is going to get 20. This now has 70. Next up we have gifts, which is already fully funded, so nothing in there. And then health is going to get 20. I have 20, 40, 60, 70, $80 in health now. Next we have phone, which is going to get 27. So 20, 5, 6, 7. And this envelope is completely empty, so it just has the 27 in it now. And then finally, I have my kittens. It says Zelda, but it's kittens. Now, I'll probably change that at some point, and that one is going to get 83. So I have 50, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83. And I believe this one is also empty. Yes, so it only has 83 now. Oh, and then I actually do have a miscellaneous category. That's the remaining 20. I think I'm just gonna put that into my wallet for now. For my long-term sinking funds, since my income is so inconsistent and low this month, for now, I'm not going to stuff these. If I end up making more than I expected this month, then I will stuff this in the second half of the month. Otherwise, this will probably not get any more money for the rest of this month. And most of the long-term sinking funds have a good amount of money in them anyway, so it's not really a priority for me to fund them every month. But for now, I guess that's kind of the end of this video. I'm all done. I have my short-term sinking funds done. I have my budget all figured out for the month. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And also hit the bell if you want to be notified each time a new video comes out. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys in my next video.